Hello, wealth tycoons. I hope you are taking good care of your money. I am not kidding. You should be careful about the money you have locked in your bank accounts too, because there are people who get up one day to discover their bank account is empty. It didn't happen to a single person, but to millions of others. In an instant, governments, businesses, and even medical facilities lost their money. It seems like a Hollywood movie scenario, doesn't it? However, this is real. This is the story of the Lazarus Group, a covert North Korean cyber collective that has stolen more than $100 billion. You heard that right? $100 billion bucks. That surpasses the GDP of certain nations. We will delve deeply into the Lazarus Group story in this documentary, examining the group's methods, their most well-known assaults, and the effects of their activities on a worldwide scale. I am sure you have heard about this group before. You have also heard about the scams they have pulled off. Maybe you do not remember them as of now. So, without any delay, let's jump into the video where we will show you how this digital era is not just a silver lining. It can be dangerous too. Here we go. The Lazarus Group is one of the busiest hacker groups in the world. They are not just a group of rogue hackers working out of a closet. They are a very well-organized group of cyber criminals who work for the North Korean government and are supported by the government. One of the world's smartest and deadliest hacker groups is based in a country that is known for keeping things secret, cutting people off from the rest of the world, and having strict control over its citizens. The name Lazarus comes from a story in the Bible about a man named Lazarus who was raised from the dead. It's a good name for a gang that always seems to be changing, going missing after big attacks, and then coming back with new plans and targets. But don't let the name fool you. What they do is not magical in any way. All of their cruel, well-planned acts are meant to help the North Korean government. The Lazarus Group first came to public attention in the middle of the 2000s, but their activities possibly began much earlier. North Korea, which is cut off from the rest of the world and has to deal with harsh economic penalties, saw cybercrime as a way to make money. The boss of the country, Kim Jong-un, thought hacking was a low-risk, high-reward strategy. Cyber attacks are different from other ways of making money because they can be done secretly and don't put the people who do them in any danger. North Korea put a lot of money into improving its cyber skills. The government set up specialized schools and training centers for computer scientists to find and train the best ones. Teenage hackers were taught how to write code, find holes in security, and carry out complex hacks. The Lazarus Group became well known in this cyber army and was given the job of running the most profitable and well-known activities. The framework of the Lazarus Group is one of the things that makes it work. The group is not just a bunch of hackers, it is an organized hierarchical unit. Think of them as the computer version of a special forces unit. Each part of cybercrime is handled by a separate team. These teams work on things like Bitcoin theft, money laundering, surveillance, and infiltration. At the very top are the masterminds, who are high-level North Korean government officials in charge of the group's activities. They give the money, assets, and strategy direction. The hackers, who are split up into specialized groups, are below them. Some are experts at making software, while others are great at social engineering, which means tricking people into giving up private information. There is even a team whose sole purpose is to hide their tracks so that it is nearly impossible to find out who did these attacks. Because they are so organized, the Lazarus Group can carry out complex, multi-phase strikes with military precision. They don't just hack for fun or fame, they do it to stay alive. Why do you think the Lazarus Group is acting the way they are? What makes North Korea's problems unique holds the key to a solution. The country can't connect to the world economy because of harsh penalties. This makes it one of the most isolated places in the world. These limits were put in place because of North Korea's work on nuclear weapons and its abuse of human rights. Because of this, it is hard for the regime to make enough money to fund its actions and keep the people in line. Cybercrime gives people a way out. The Lazarus Group steals money from banks, cryptocurrency platforms, and other places, giving the dictatorship a steady stream of cash. They are thought to have stolen more than $100 billion over the years. This money has been used to pay for everything from military projects to high-end goods for the rich. One thing that isn't just money, though, is thought. In addition, the Lazarus Group is a tool for geopolitical impact. When they attack other governments and companies online, they can make their enemies angry and show that North Korea is alone but not helpless. It is important to remember that every hack is done by a person, even though the Lazarus Group is sometimes portrayed as a faceless group. A lot of the group is made up of young, bright people who were hired when they were young. Kids who go to schools run by the government are trained and told to think of themselves as fighting in a digital war. For these hackers, joining the Lazarus Group is often a matter of life and death. In a country with few opportunities, becoming a hacker is a way to improve your life. They are given food, housing, and other necessities, but they are also watched all the time. If you're not committed, bad things could happen, maybe even worse. This brings up an important question. Are the people in the Lazarus Group victims or bad guys? This problem is too hard to solve in a simple way. Without a doubt, they are the result of a system that puts loyalty above all else and is ready to do anything to keep it alive. The Lazarus Group does not just do things in Asia or even North Korea. They have attacked companies and people all over the world, from the US and Europe to Africa and South America. Their strikes are carefully planned and carried out, and the whole process can take months or even years. One of the things that helps them do well is that they can fit in. Cybersecurity experts have a hard time connecting their attacks to North Korea because they use complex methods to hide their identities. To hide their tracks even more, they use the fact that the internet is global to their advantage by attacking computers in different countries. The Lazarus Group is a real threat to the whole world because it has members all over the world. These are troubles for everyone, not just those who are against North Korea. In the early days of computers, people who hacked were more interested in learning than they were trying to do harm. Most of the time, the first hackers were students or tech fans who wanted to make computers do more. They didn't care about politics or money, they just wanted to try new things and learn more. With the rise of the internet in the 1990s, so did the chances of making money. Once hackers realized they could make money from their skills, crime began to take a darker tone. During this time, there was a lot of malicious software out there that was made to damage computer systems or get into them without permission. In the early 2000s, the Titan Rain attacks were one of the first times that hackers were hired by the government. Cybercriminals from China broke into government computers in the United States and stole private data about military and defense projects. The attacks showed all countries how easy it is for hackers to get into their systems. North Korea saw right away that hacking could be done by the government. The country saw cybercrime as a way to level the playing field since it was facing harsh economic fines and being cut off from the rest of the world. By the middle of the 2000s, the Lazarus Group was the most well-known part of their specialized cyber warfare team. When cryptocurrencies came out in the 2010s, they changed the way hacking was done. Cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, are not controlled by a single entity and are hard to track. Because of this, hackers who wanted to demand ransoms or hide money could use them easily. It was the Lazarus Group that was one of the first to use this new technology. They began stealing digital goods worth millions of dollars from cryptocurrency platforms. One of their best-known attacks was the WannaCry ransomware spread in 2017. It locked up hundreds of thousands of computers around the world. It was almost impossible to find the money because the hackers insisted on being paid in Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency also helped the Lazarus Group stay out of trouble with the law. By turning stolen money into digital currency, they could send money across countries without being caught. They had a big advantage over normal criminal groups because those groups depend on banks and other financial companies. Both hackers' techniques and security methods have gotten better over time. A technique called Advanced Persistent Threats, APTs, was used by the Lazarus Group and other groups backed by the government. These are targeted attacks that happen over and over again and are meant to weaken a certain system or organization. There are different stages that an APT goes through, such as exfiltration, invasion, and reconnaissance. Months or even years pass while the hackers plan their attack, look for holes, and learn more about their target. As soon as they get inside, they carefully move around and stealthily take as much info as they can without being seen. One of the best-known examples of an APT is the Stuxnet worm, which was made to hurt Iran's nuclear program in 2010. Even though most people agree that the US and Israel made Stuxnet, it showed how APTs could be used in cyber warfare. The Lazarus Group has used similar methods in their strikes on banks, governments, and important infrastructure. The Lazarus Group has been behind some of the most dangerous and damaging cyber attacks in history, so they are not just a made-up threat. These are not just random hacking events. They are well-planned operations with specific goals in mind, like stealing money, causing damage to infrastructure, or sending political messages. In February 2016, the Lazarus Group launched one of the worst strikes on record on the Bangladesh Central Bank. Their goal was to steal almost $1 billion from the bank's account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. A simple fake email was the first step in the attack. When a bank worker clicked on a fake link by accident, the hackers were able to get into the bank's computers. After getting inside, the Lazarus Group spent weeks studying how the bank worked and figuring out how to fake real transactions. They sent 35 fake transfer requests to the Federal Reserve that added up to $951 million the night of the theft. The requests were made to look like normal trades by using fake SWIFT codes. SWIFT is a global system used for sending money between countries. Luckily, not all transfers went through. The Federal Reserve stopped most of the trades because of a spelling mistake in one of the requests, which made them nervous. The $81 million did, however, make it to accounts in the Philippines, where it was quickly turned into cash and cleaned out through casinos. The theft from the Bangladesh bank woke up the banking world. In this case, it showed that even the safest devices can be hacked. It also showed how well the Lazarus Group could do military actions with many steps and complicated details. The Lazarus Group started the WannaCry ransomware attack in May 2017. It was one of the worst hacks ever. Over 200,000 computers in 150 countries were hacked. It spread like flames and wasn't just aimed at one company. The files on a victim's PC were hidden by WannaCry so that they could not be read. The hackers then asked for a Bitcoin payment to get the files back. The attack had an effect on hospitals, businesses, and government agencies, causing a lot of trouble and financial losses. In the United Kingdom, the National Health Service, NHS, was one of the most badly hit. Medical records had to be kept in order, so hospitals had to turn people away, stop surgeries, and write things down by hand. The attack showed the effects of hacking in the real world by causing chaos and putting lives in danger. Because WannaCry used the eternal blue flaw in Microsoft Windows, it was able to do so much damage. This trick was made by the United States. The National Security Agency, NSA, information was leaked by a group called the Shadow Brokers. The Lazarus Group used Eternal Blue to take advantage of the leak and spread WannaCry all over the world. In the end, a cybersecurity expert found a kill switch that stopped the attack, but it was too late. WannaCry was a clear warning of how dangerous ransomware can be and how important it is to keep software up to date. WannaCry and the Bangladesh bank theft were both done to make money, but the Lazarus Group has also done attacks with political and ideological goals. One of the most well-known cases is the Sony Pictures hack in 2014. The strike happened because of the release of the comedy film The Interview, which was about a made-up murder attempt on North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The Lazarus Group was told to send a message to North Korea's angry government. Once the hackers got into Sony's networks, they took terabytes of private data. They leaked private letters, movies that hadn't been aired yet, and personal information about employees. Another scary message they sent was, "We have all of your internal data, including top secrets and secrets." Because of the chaos caused by the attack, Sony had to stop the showing of The Interview in some theaters. Others talked about how to find a middle ground between free speech and national security. It was a clear example of how the Lazarus Group could use hacking to try to change politics. In the past few years, the Lazarus Group has turned its attention to Bitcoin as a new target. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are great targets for hackers because they are decentralized, hard to track, and very valuable. In 2021, the group stole $400 million from the KuCoin market. This was one of their biggest cryptocurrency thefts to date. There was a flaw in KuCoin's methods that the hackers used to get into the exchange's hot wallets, which are online digital wallets. After that, they put the money in their own pockets so they could cash it out and clean it. Besides the KuCoin one, there were other thefts. The Lazarus Group has stolen millions of dollars worth of digital assets from many cryptocurrency platforms. Insiders often help hackers carry out these attacks by giving them access to secret networks. Because digital money is anonymous, it is very hard to look into Bitcoin thefts. Once the money has been transferred, it is very hard to get back the stolen goods because money can be quickly moved between countries. The Lazarus Group's attacks have had a big effect on people, groups, and countries all over the world. The real cost is even higher than the huge amount of money that is lost. If someone hacks into a business, it can lose more than just money. It could hurt their reputation, make clients less likely to trust them, and lead to costly court battles. It can mess up important assets for governments and put national security at risk. It can also ruin people's finances, hurt them physically, and cause them to lose private information. There are also global effects of the thefts that the Lazarus Group does. By focusing on foreign companies and governments, they can change the world stage. Their attacks make it clear that North Korea is not weak, even though it is cut off from the rest of the world. The Lazarus Group is a problem all over the world, not just in North Korea. Their actions have sent shockwaves around the world, affecting countries, businesses, and people right away and for a long time. This chapter looks at the bigger impacts of the Lazarus Group's work, such as the monetary losses, political tensions, and even the emotional and social costs. There is no doubt that the attacks by the Lazarus Group cost money. Over the years, they have stolen billions of dollars from banks, Bitcoin platforms, and other places. But the damage to the economy goes far beyond the direct losses. When a big company or financial institution is hacked, it can affect whole industries. For example, the WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017 hurt companies all over the world and cost them an estimated $4 billion. Companies were compelled to pay ransoms, stop working, and spend a lot of money to improve their security. When these costs are often passed on to customers through higher prices, there is a secret cost that affects everyone. A lot of small businesses are at risk. Unlike large companies, they often don't have the tools they need to recover from a cyber attack. A single ransomware attack could mean that a small business has to shut down for good. This would mean that people lose their jobs and the local economy becomes insecure. The Lazarus Group's attacks on Bitcoin platforms have also had a big effect on the digital economy. By taking Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies worth millions of dollars, they have hurt people's faith in these new technologies. This has slowed the growth of the Bitcoin industry and made it harder for real businesses to use blockchain technology. Surprised by Lazarus's attacks? What about our detailed research on the group? Liked it too? If yes, then you can appreciate our efforts by simply giving this video a like. Also, you can subscribe to our channel for more such content. Moving back to the Lazarus Group. The Lazarus Group's activities have also made geopolitical tensions worse, especially between North Korea and the rest of the world. A lot of people see their attacks as part of North Korea's foreign policy, which is to weaken enemies and raise money for the regime's military goals. One example, a lot of people thought that the 2014 Sony Pictures hack was caused by the movie The Interview, which made fun of Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea. It was clear from what happened that North Korea will not stand for criticism, not even from the movie business. In the same way, the WannaCry ransomware attack was seen as a clear threat to cybersecurity around the world. In order to take advantage of a gap that the U.S., a part of the National Security Agency, NSA, called the Lazarus Group, showed they could use Western technology against the people who made it. Because of this, tensions have grown between North Korea and countries like the U.S., South Korea, and Japan. Moreover, recently, the Lazarus Group made one more move by using LinkedIn as their playground. While your job hunt? Through LinkedIn, all of a sudden, A recruiter contacts you. The job sounds great. Good pay, open hours, and the chance to work on an interesting cryptocurrency project. You're interested, you send them your resume and maybe a link to your GitHub. Everything looks fine. And that was it. You walked right into a trap. In fact, this is what happened when Lazarus Group tried to trick someone with a fake job offer. But they made a big mistake. They went after a Bitdefender expert. The researcher didn't fall for the scam. Instead, they found a complex cyber attack meant to steal credentials, take over systems, and get into business networks. The scam started with a LinkedIn message that looks like it's not a scam. The recruiter offered a good job, maybe at a tech company, or on a project that uses technology to help with money. The work can be done from home, there isn't much to do, and the pay is great. Who wouldn't want to know? The recruiter asks for standard information, like a resume, and maybe a link to a personal GitHub project. Once the target says they're interested, everything seems right. However, this is where things get scary. The hacker isn't just gathering resumes, they're also getting their target ready for the next part of the attack. They send over a project repository, which is a group of files that are meant to be related to the job. The victim gets the files and starts working on them because they want to show off their skills. There is a very dangerous weapon hidden in these files. The code looks fine at first glance, but deep inside is a highly encrypted script that is meant to install malware. The script automatically loads more malicious code from a server run by someone else. This starts a chain of attacks that gets out of hand. Malware starts its job as soon as the target runs the code. It starts to steal personal files like papers, environment variables, and crypto wallet keys. All of these files are sent quietly to a remote server. Then it takes over login information by getting passwords, session tokens, and autofill information from browser storage. A keylogger listens in on your keyboard and tracks everything you type, including passwords, messages, and private information. A Python script called main99_65.py runs in the background and gets the machine ready for more infections. Malware does more than just steal files. It gets more Python scripts, and each one is made to do a certain job. One script records keystrokes, watches what's copied to the clipboard to find cryptocurrency wallet addresses, and gives stolen information to hackers right away. Another person checks the system for private files and sends them to the command and control C2 computer of the attackers. It also sets up a way for hackers to talk to each other and send more orders. A third script goes through web browsers like Chrome, Brave, and Edge and gets saved cookies, login information, and payment information. It even runs a script that links to several pastebin URLs to get more malicious files. At this point, the victim's computer has been fully hacked. The attacks aren't done yet, though. The last payload is a .NET binary that takes over the defenses of the machine. It turns off Microsoft Defender to avoid being found, sets up a Tor proxy to safely connect to the C2 server, and downloads another executable that gathers even more data, such as the host name, username, operating system details, CPU and GPU specs, public IP address, and location. The enemies can do anything from here on out. They can use the victim's hardware to install more malware, get company secrets, or even mine cryptocurrency. The level of sophistication of this attack strongly suggests that it was carried out by people working for the government, especially the North Korean Lazarus Group. Cyber espionage, financial theft, and breaking into businesses are all things that this group has done in the past. They're not just after personal information, they're also after secret information, private technologies, and money. And this isn't the first time they've used fake job ads to get people to come in. Lazarus has gotten into fields like defense, nuclear science, and aviation by pretending to be recruiters. They can steal sensitive information, mess up operations, and even set up long-term backdoors into important systems once they get inside. It's more important than ever to be careful because cyber risks change so quickly. People looking for jobs trust LinkedIn as a business site, but hackers have turned it into a place to look for people. The Lazarus Group, which is backed by North Korea, is attacking computers all over the world with fake job postings. It's important to remember that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. If you click on the wrong link, hackers could get access to everything you do online. Keep an eye out. Keep up with news. Also, you should never trust a LinkedIn hire at face value. They could be a cybercriminal hiding behind a fake name. I'm just an ordinary person, you might think. Why would I be the target of hackers? Most of the people looking for jobs on LinkedIn are regular, middle-class people. The hackers attack them too. In fact, cybercriminals aren't always prejudiced. You could be a target whether you are a student, a small business owner, or a CEO. Hacking collectives like the Lazarus Group frequently use automated tools to exploit vulnerabilities wherever they are found. The consequences of a cyber attack can be disastrous for people. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your personal images have been leaked online, your bank account has been completely drained, or your social media accounts have been compromised. These are real dangers that millions of people deal with on a daily basis, not only hypothetical situations. However, it goes beyond monetary loss or invasions of privacy. Cyber attack victims may have psychological effects such as anxiety, helplessness, and a sense of being violated. People may be reluctant to use technology out of fear of hacking, which might hinder their capacity to connect, learn, and develop in a society that is becoming more and more digital. Knowing the most frequent risks and how to avoid them is important for self-defense. One of the most popular tactics employed by hackers, such as the Lazarus Group, is phishing. It entails sending phony emails or messages in an attempt to fool you into disclosing private information, such credit card details or passwords. Use caution while opening attachments or viewing links from unidentified sources. Keep an eye out for phishing warning signs such misspelt words, generic pleasantries, or requests for immediate action. If in question, get in touch with the sender to confirm the message. Another major problem is using weak passwords. Like leaving your front door open, they make it easy for hackers to get into your accounts and personal information. Make sure that each account has a strong, unique password. You should use a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols in a strong password that is at least 12 characters long. You might want to use a password generator to make and store your password safely. Ransomware is another threat to be aware of. This type of malware locks up your files and won't let you access them until you pay a fee. Ransomware, like WannaCry, was used by the Lazarus Group in some of their worst strikes. Back up your files, often to the cloud or an external hard drive. You can get back your protected files this way without having to pay the ransom. Also, keep your program up to date to protect yourself from known security holes. Public Wi-Fi networks are useful, but hackers often break into them. To get you to join, they can set up fake networks or steal your data. Don't do important things like shopping or paying online when you're on public Wi-Fi. If you have to, you might want to use a virtual private network, VPN, to help protect your link. Another common method hackers use is called social engineering. It means claiming to be a trustworthy friend, coworker, or service provider in order to get someone to reveal private information. If someone asks you for information without asking, especially if they seem to be someone you know, you should be wary. Make sure the person calling you is who they say they are before giving out any important information. If you know about these risks and take steps to avoid them, you may greatly lower your chances of being a victim of a hack. Have you ever been part of such online scams? If yes, do share your experience with us in the comment section below. If you want us to cover any particular topic, mention it in the comment section, and we will take it from there. You can also check our already existing videos for knowledge. If you enjoyed watching the video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you soon in the next video.